Hello, and welcome to what I hope is going to be the best syllabus video that you watch all day today. My name is Dr. Rydell, and I am your professor in History 240, Civil Rights in America. Because we missed the first week with the snow, we are starting off in a hole trying to catch up, so it's important that you watch this video in full. In a normal semester, we spend the first day going over the syllabus, but one way we're trying to make up a little time is that you need to watch this video. If you don't watch this video in full, you are at a much greater chance of failing the class. So stick with it. Let's get started. At the top of the syllabus is our course information, and I was so excited to get started, I forgot to tell you what you should already know when you started this video, which is that there's a task here in the video. And as we go through the syllabus, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you just need to jot down some answers on a piece of paper as I ask you the questions. And then when we're done, you can just take a picture of that piece of paper where you jotted down your answers and send it to me by email. So at the top of the syllabus is our course information and my information, Dr. Rydell. My name is pronounced, well, the way I'm used to pronouncing my name is Rydell, which is apparently not correct in its German origin, but I've never been to Germany. What I'm used to is Rydell. Try it one time. You didn't say it. Let's do it one more time. Rydell. Hey, two of you did. Thank you. Our course meets Tuesday, Thursday, 9:30 to 10:45 in Humanities 111. My office is Humanities 275 on the Rockville campus. So at this point, hopefully you have a hard copy of the syllabus right there in front of you. And if you would, underline or circle my office location and my office hours. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 2:30 to 3:15. And starting February 10th, Monday, Wednesday, 9:50 to 10:50. You'll have to visit my office in the first couple weeks of the semester, and so this is how you know when I'm going to be there and where it is. Okay. This course offers you a special opportunity to experience the world before the 21st century, in the days when we didn't have a screen in front of us all the time. No laptops or cell phones are permitted during our class periods. You'll have to take notes during class, but you'll do that by hand, which every study indicates is better for your learning. So, laptop, not necessary. What is necessary is a notebook. So make sure you come on the first day with a good notebook, a spiral notebook, or even better in some cases, a little three-ring binder, small, but little three-ring binder where you can put your own sheets of paper in there. And also, not permitted in the classroom, the phone. This is going to be very hard for a small percentage of you, and if it is, we'll go back and forth, and it'll hurt your grade, and you may wish that you had just dropped the class. But what I'm asking of you is that you come into the classroom with your phone put away, like in a bag, turned off. Because when you come into the classroom, what we're trying to do instead of looking down at our screen is to see each other and to talk to each other. Hey, how was your weekend? This is what we used to do all the time before the 21st century because we were bored. And it was so much better for our mental health. So, no phones, no laptops in the classroom. If you feel like you need to be on your phone so badly, then stay in the hallway right up until class begins. Like walk into class at 9:29, having gotten every single possible moment on your phone. But don't come into classroom with your phone out on it. Okay, if that's bad news to you, the second piece of bad news is that this is a no AI course. If you're into learning, you may very much like both of these things. No AI. This class proceeds from the premise that AI is detrimental to your learning when the tasks are tasks being asked of your brain. And if you turn to AI to do that task instead, then you are not developing your brain. As you'll see, I've tried to AI-proof the class, but if you figure out a way to use AI and turn it in for a grade, then you'll get an F in the class. A quick broader note about this for your college experience. There is no college-wide policy on AI. Each professor sets their own policy about AI use, and it should be stated clearly in each of your course syllabi. So here in our syllabi, you see it stated very clearly right here at the beginning, and each of your classes should have the same sort of clear guidance for you. But it does mean that the burden is on you to know what the policy is in each class. And here, it's an easy way to fail the class, so don't do it. Course objectives. See the things marked with the bullet points? You've got to be able to do those things by the end of the semester. There's a Gen Ed statement. This course fulfills two Gen Ed requirements, the Humanities Distribution requirement and the Global and Cultural Perspectives requirement. If you signed up for this class not knowing that you were knocking out two Gen Ed requirements at once, well then, congratulations. You are. There's a paragraph here about this website that the college created with information for students. If you have a copy of the syllabus on your computer, you can click the link right here. If you have a hard copy of the syllabus, then just press that word here with your finger, and from the hard copy of the syllabus, it'll open right up on your desk. That's not true. That's what's called a joke. On page 2, there's a little statement about the Americans with Disabilities Act. If you have any kind of disability that needs accommodations, make sure that you get a letter from the DSS office, and then this next step, so important, meet with me so that we make sure that we have a clear plan for you to get what you need so that you can be successful. There's a paragraph here about the college's learning centers, which can be helpful for you in all sorts of courses here at Montgomery College. If you're doing well in this class, but struggling in your math or science class, there's a learning center that can help you. If you're struggling with the book that you're reading for this class, there's a reading center. So take advantages of the resources that are available to you. They can help you get better grades. And it's like people are sitting at these places waiting to help you. Just like I am sitting in my office hours during these times waiting to help you. So come see me. All right, before we get into the assigned materials, I'm going to ask you the first question that I'd like you to jot down a little answer to. What's the class policy on cell phones and laptops? All right, so just jot down your answer. There will be 5 of these questions, something like that. So one little sheet of paper would be fine, any kind of scrap paper. You're just going to take a picture of it and send me the picture that shows your little answers. Okay, we're in the assigned materials. First important thing to say here is that there is no textbook, all right? No textbook from which the professor asks you to read a chapter each week and you think it's boring. There's no textbook. Instead, there are a list of book options, all related to topics about civil rights and American history. And your first task is going to be to research what each of these book options is about and choose the one that's most interesting to you. So, as it says here at the top, you're going to read a book and watch a movie. It says film. They're documentaries. That doesn't mean you're not going to love them. Ah, look at the cat reading the book. That's going to be like you, reading your book, but hopefully with greater comprehension. So, there's a list below. The texts that are highlighted are available to read for free through the MC Libraries webpage. So if you just put the full title into the library's search page, it should bring you to a page where you can read the book online for free. If it's not highlighted, then it's not available online for free. You have to order it. You can order copies from Amazon, and they'll get to you with enough time for you to get started, the first assessment, as long as you make your decision quickly and get it ordered, get it going. Okay, one little note. I told you that you're going to read a book and watch a movie. However, this selection right here, this first selection, is actually two brief books paired together. So it's a brief book called Negroes with Guns paired with another brief book called March, Book 1, which, well, you'll learn what it's about when you do your research. Pairing these two brief books together makes this reading selection roughly the same length as the other individual books. So two short books or any one of the other options. That's what you're going to pick. And then you'll go to YouTube or some other source and look up each of the movie options, watch a little trailer, learn what they're about, and select the one that you're going to watch later in the semester. You're not going to watch it right away, but you're going to make your selection here at the beginning of the semester. Okay, so the takeaway here is, all right, I'm going to read a book, watch a movie. Got it. We'll talk more about what you're going to do with those in a few minutes. Here, we're on page 3. Your grade for the class is out of 1,000 points at the end of the semester. So that means if you get to 700 total points by the end of the semester, that's 700 out of 1,000, and you'll get a C. If you make it to 800 points, you'll get a B, 900 points, an A, 100-point scale. So here then are the various components of that 1,000 points. And as we get into this, I would just urge you to look at your grade not like an average, but always like, okay, how many points do I have? And right now, you have 0. So if you think of it not like what's my average, but how many points do I have? Then you can sort of chart your progress toward getting to 700 points for a C, 800 for a B, 900 for an A, etc. Okay, so the first little grade is the office visit. You have to come see me in my office. That's it. We're going to chat for 2 to 5 minutes. But it does several important things. It makes you know where my office is and when I'm available there. And it gives me a chance to talk to you one-on-one, answer any questions that you have, and make sure that you're getting the class started on the right foot. From your perspective, well, no, from my perspective, one of the great things that the office visit does is it makes students more likely to come to my office later in the semester when they have questions, when it's not for a grade, because they've already come to my office and they know that it's not stressful, that I'm there to help. Uh, so yeah, so make sure you get this done. There turns out to be a really high correlation between people who fail the class and people who don't do this. I think because it's easy, and if you don't do it, then you're just not trying. And those kind of people go on to fail the class. So don't be one of those people. Do it. All right, next big part of your grade, class participation. This is 180 points, 18% of the overall grade. And I'll be looking for you to be an active class participant who arrives before class begins and is ready to learn throughout our class period. That's really what we're going for. I'll ask you questions that'll look for your verbal participation, but a lot of that participation grade is also nonverbal. It's engagement. Are you with me on this adventure that we're taking together? Um, you'll get a participation grade for each class meeting. So each class meeting, you get a little grade. And at the end of the semester, I'll drop your 2 lowest individual participation scores. That means if you missed 2 classes, if you were absent twice, you'll have 2 zeros in your participation grades. But because your 2 lowest scores drop, those zeros would just fall out of the grade. All the other scores count. If you have perfect attendance, this works even better for you. Whatever are your 2 lowest individual scores drop out. Your higher scores are what count. We'll come back to talk a little bit more about class participation in a few moments. Next, the book and the movie. Remember, you're going to pick a book, pick a movie from the list above. And so the first step is you'll make your selections outside of class by doing some research. I think the best way to go with the books is to put each book title into Amazon's search engine, and it'll bring you to the page for that book. You can read a little summary of the book. In most cases, you can read a little selection from the book if you want to. You can read reviews of the book. And all of this should allow you to get a basic understanding of what each of the book options are about. And you'll need that because the first step is that after you do that research outside of class, I'll stop trying to highlight, in class, you will write down what you picked. I'll give you a prompt, like a blank sheet of paper. You'll be working from your memory, and you'll tell me, I selected the book called blah blah. It's about, so you're going to explain the book and the movie that you picked, and then, if you can, tell me a little bit about the other books and movies and what they're about. Okay, so that's step one. It is making your picks. And that little step is only worth 5 points, but you have to score at least a 3. You can't go on and read a book and watch a movie if you can't tell me what book and movie you selected. And that's what you need to do to get a 3. So this is not intended to make you fail the class, but if you don't get at least a 3, well then you have to come back to my office hours and retake it until you get a score that is at least a 3. This becomes super annoying for you. It's a little bit annoying for me, but I would think it's much more annoying for the student. So please just be prepared the first time and get a score that's at least a 3. Then you'll start reading the book that you selected. At 3 different points in the semester, you'll have an assessment in class that will ask you questions about the book that you're reading, and you'll write down your answers based on what you remember from the book. Each of those reading assessments are worth 50 points, and so 150 points total for the 3 reading assessments in class. And then later in the semester, you'll watch that movie that you selected, and there'll be an in-class assessment where you answer questions about the movie that you watched. So those 3 steps together are worth 200 points. That's 20% of your total grade. Next, we'll have 2 map quizzes. The map quizzes are important for understanding the geography so that the history makes sense. Lots of students' historical understanding collapses because they don't understand geography. Like if I tell you that someone moved from Birmingham to Minneapolis, and yet you have no sense of what state those places are, those cities are in, where those cities are in relation to each other, well then you can't really make sense of what I just told you. So geography. For the map quizzes, you'll get a review sheet ahead of time. It'll tell you exactly what'll be on the quiz. If you study effectively, you'll do really well. We'll have 2 in-class role-playing historical debates where you'll sort of pretend to be back in a historical moment, and we'll debate 2 sides of an issue as though we were back there in the year 1848 or 1911, wherever. Details will be available on Blackboard and in class. We'll have 3 tests. The tests will be based on the lecture material, not on the book that you're reading or the movie that you're watching. Those will be assessed through the writing you'll do in class. The tests will be based on the lecture material. And as we get close to each test, you'll get a review sheet that will tell you exactly what will be on the test in most sections. So again, if you put in the time, study effectively, you'll do really well. There will be a series of 7 brief little quizzes that are called key term quizzes. They'll take place right at the beginning of certain class periods, and once we get started, you'll come to understand what the key terms are, and I'll explain a little more about how the quizzes will work. They're fill in the blank. And so if you study effectively using the quiz pre-page on Blackboard, then you should do really well. And that's it. Those things add up to 1,000 points. I would say for most students, the tests are one of the hardest parts, and the reading assessments are one of the hardest parts. But if you do this next part, which is just keep up with the notes, it's going to help you in so many ways. First, your participation grade will be significantly better because you keep up with the notes. Your test and quiz grades will be significantly better because you keep up with the notes. And as a reward for doing this basic thing that you're supposed to do, keep up with the notes, there's the opportunity to add 15 points to each test grade. Remember, you're going to take notes with a pen or pencil in a notebook, right? And as the rhythm of the class, which we'll talk more about in a moment, will be that you'll come to class, we'll have some discussion, but you'll take notes as we go along. And then after class, you'll watch a continuation of the lecture and you'll take some more notes outside of class. So notes from class plus notes from the videos that you have to watch outside of class. Again, those videos will just continue the lecture from the spot where we left off in class. So that's the rhythm. Come to class, take notes. After class, watch the videos, take notes. And if you keep up with that rhythm, then on the day of the test, you will hand me your notebook with your handwritten notes from all the material, and I'll flip through your notebook. And if you've got all the notes, you'll get 15 points added to that test grade. We have 3 tests. So that's 3 opportunities to earn 15 points for a total of 45 points. That is like half a letter grade. So if you think the class is going to be hard and you're trying to make sure you get a C, do this. If you're trying to get an A, do this. If you don't really care about your academic success and you're not concerned about failure, you think, whatever, then don't do it. It's not for you. Okay, so we're sliding on to page 4, but at this point, I'm going to ask you another question, and you can jot down the answer to it. The next question for you is, how will you go about selecting your book and your movie? I'm not asking you to tell me what your book and movie selection are, just how you're going to go about selecting them. All right, so that's the next question. Pause while you jot that down, and then come back. Oh, hey, you're back. All right, here on page 4 are some ways to succeed in the course. I'm going to run through them very quickly and trust that you will read them in full. Number 1, come to class. Come to class on time. Come to class all the time. Remember, if something happens and you miss class because you're sick or something bad happens, the first 2 absences don't affect you because they just drop out of the participation grade. If you're on your phone, after I've told you to put it away, I will count you as absent, and then I will ask you to leave the class. So it's gotta be put away. You've gotta be able to do it. It's good for you. It's good for all of us to disconnect from it for little stretches. So I hope you're able to do it. Number 2, use our Blackboard page. Our Blackboard page works together with what we do in class. So you've got to regularly be on Blackboard. Number 3, use your MC email. Don't email me from your Gmail account, and don't send me messages through Blackboard. Every time you send me a message through Blackboard, 100 points are deducted from your grade. That's not true. No points are deducted from your grade, but I don't see your message with the same speed that I will see it if you just send me an email from your MC email. Number 4, communicate. Number 5, take good notes. Number 6, plan on 2 to 3 hours of preparation for every hour spent in class. We meet in class for 2.5 hours a week, so that means you should figure on, I'm struggling here. You should figure on 5 to 7.5 hours of homework a week. That is work that you do outside of class. Reading, watching lecture videos, studying. Because we're going to be hustling to try to catch up for the first several weeks, the class will be near the upper end of that general guidance. 7, participation's a big part of your grade. Get to class on time, have your phone put away, come in ready to learn. Number 8, if you decide to drop a course, do the paperwork. Number 9, don't cheat. And here, a little bit that explains some more about class and the notes, which we talked about before. Let's just go through it step by step as it's laid out on your syllabus. You know that thing where you miss a class and you have to go to other students and say, oh, can I see your notes from the class? Because I wasn't here and there's no way for me to get what I missed. That's not true here. I've recorded all of the course lectures. And what we're going to do in class is our own special individual walk through that lecture material. Each time that I go through one of the lectures with a group of students, it takes a slightly different series of twists and turns. Students have different interests, they ask different questions. I'm prompted in different ways to pursue different side stories. But each time we do the lecture, it covers the same major significant things. So what this means is that class will meet Tuesday, Thursday, 9:30 to 10:45, and then after class each day, I will post videos on Blackboard that will duplicate what we covered in class. If you attended class and took good notes, you don't ever need to watch that part of the posted videos. That's the part we covered in class. But then, after almost every class throughout the semester, the videos that I post will include additional lecture material that you'll need to watch after class. That is the homework part of the lectures. This lecture material will be 30 to 45 minutes after a Tuesday class, and then you have to watch those videos before our Thursday class. And then over the weekend, when you have 5 days, the videos will be longer, 80 to 100 minutes. If you miss a class, well, you need to watch all the posted videos, right? Because you're watching the part from class and the part that was assigned as homework. Your notes have to be handwritten, even when you're taking your notes at home, if you want to earn the extra credit for the tests. An important note. Let's say after a Tuesday class, you're supposed to go watch this video material posted on Blackboard and take notes. When we start class the next day, I'll begin by asking you some questions about what was in those lecture videos. This is not like testing your memory. You're supposed to have your notes open right there in front of you in the classroom. So when I ask you questions about what was in the lecture videos, you can just look right down at your notes, and my questions are easy. You're just like telling me what's in your notes. So if you're able to do that, I'll know that you watched the videos, and this part of your participation grade will be very, very good. If you didn't watch the videos, you'll be totally confused by my questions, and you'll get zeros. And so when those add up, your inability, your failure to watch the videos will lead to you having a failing participation grade. So watch the videos. So my next question for you, before we get into the course schedule, is what is your plan for taking notes in the class? All right, that's our third question. So jot down your answer to that, then come back. Hey, you're back. Okay, we are wrapping things up. On the bottom of page 4 and continuing on page 5 is the course schedule for the semester, adjusted because we lost week 1 because of the snow. I came so close to posting the syllabus, but then I saw the snow in the forecast, and I was like, let's wait and see how this goes, so that you didn't get 2 different versions of the syllabus. This one factors in that we didn't have any class week 1. And so week 2 listed here, and then as you go through the syllabus, if it lists the specific day, then that's because there's something, either something due, or we're doing something in class that day that's been assigned. So on Tuesday, February 10th, that's when you'll do the assignment selections. Like we talked about before, you'll explain the book and movie that you picked and tell me a little bit about the other books and movies. And then you can proceed through the course schedule like that. So Thursday, February 12th, Key Term Quiz 1. Tuesday, the 17th, Key Term Quiz 2. The debate, maybe, but it says probably because the date is flexible. There's nothing you need to do for the debate ahead of time, just come to class. having watched the assigned lecture videos. You'll notice that it doesn't list Thursday. That's not because like class doesn't meet on Thursday. It's just because there's no writing that you're doing in class that day, no quiz or assessment or anything. We're just having lecture and discussion. Um, and so you can see the first test listed, Key Term Quiz 3, the first reading assessment here in week 6. So this is why if you figure out what book you're going to read right away, order it, you should have it by next week. You still have 3 weeks to read the first third of that book. And as you go through, you can find the second test, second reading assessment, the movie assessment, and so forth. So here, let me ask you question number 4. Can you do it? Like, I'll be more specific about that. Can you do the most basic thing that the course is going to ask of you, which is to watch those videos, right? To come to class and then after class consistently be like, oh, I have homework for my history class. Got to go watch those videos and take notes. Can you do it? If you can, well, tell me why you think you can do it. And if you can't, you may not even want to send me the email. If you're really like, I can't do that, then it may be smart to not proceed. Like find something different. So hopefully your answer to that one is yes. And let's see, after the course schedule, there are some college-wide policies and procedures. There's a bit about the attendance policy, most of which I already mentioned to you. But do note as well that if you miss more than 7 classes, you'll receive an automatic F. Doesn't matter what your scores are on the things that you were able to do, you just missed way too much class. So there's then a bit about withdrawal and refund dates. You can find those dates in your MyMC account. A bit about audit, disability support services, veterans, delayed opening or closing. Oh my gosh, we've already had some of that. Communication, sexual misconduct, we're against it. Pregnancy, we support it. Important links for students. Here's another link to that page that I gave you a link to earlier. So I have linked you to it twice. You're going to get double the excitement. My last question for you as we wrap up is, how will you avoid being surprised by a quiz or an assessment or a test? Like, how will you avoid being that student who walks into class and goes, we have a quiz today? All right, that's my final question for you. I hope that this has been the greatest syllabus video that you've ever seen in the whole course of today. I look forward to meeting you in class on our first Tuesday and to going on this adventure with you through the history of civil rights in the United States. I'll see you in class.